Hey there, I'm Trevor Houston, the creator of the Who You Know Summit, and I'd like to welcome you to the Who You Know Job Networking Show.
On our program, we'd like to show you a job search like you've never seen.
Everything from getting noticed by employers, how to properly format your resume, and how to network effectively using LinkedIn to drive recruiters to your profile.
We even take suggestions from our amazing community.
So if you want to learn all things job search, go ahead and subscribe now.
Focus! It's all about the job search. So if you want to learn how to land that next success, you heard them. All you got to do is subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss out on a thing. Welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show. What you know is important.
Why is that?
Who you know? Who you know? Who you know can make all the difference.
Who you know?
Foster, you tripped me out, man.
I did. I felt through it.
Wow.
Yes,
man.
sir.
What y'all think about that commercial? That was like, Mark was behind the scenes. He was like, with the ice shaker commercial. That's awesome. Guys, we've got a very special guest in the house. So, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to mess your last name up. That's just what I do, okay?
Adam.
So we got Adam Knihtila.
Very close.
Very close. Sorry. Well, can you say it for us? Adam, can you say your last name?
It's Adam Knihtila.
Knihtila. Okay, see,
Knihtila.
look, that's my MO. It's what I do on this show. I mess people's names up. So let me
He's
read your bio
branded
real
with
quick.
that, Adam.
Let me read your bio real quick. So Adam, okay? Adam is a virtual CFO that translate finances into English, okay? He works primarily with medical practices to make more money. Adam loves golf, the Minnesota Vikings,
Oh, okay.
and singing bass too in the community choir. Everybody, big old round of applause for
Big
Adam.
old round of applause.
Adam. All right, Adam. So we got y'all hyped up here. I'm so curious, and I'm interested to know. Tell me something about yourself that most people don't know about you. I want to set the stage. Something that most people don't know.
Let's see. So you covered a couple of things that most people do know. So golf is a big one. Minnesota Vikings is another.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome for those 3 Super Bowl titles in the 90s. But something that most people don't know about me is that I actually played trombone in the high school band. So I did marching band.
6th grade.
And everything like that. So I made sure that there was lots of noise going on.
Yes.
For those pep bands and things like that. So that is something that most people don't know about me.
I played the stand-up bass. What did you play?
Trombone.
Trombone? You played trombone too?
I tried it in 6th grade. Adam, it didn't work. I went to the football field.
So I'm wondering, why the Vikings? Are you from Wisconsin?
No, Mark, you're switching the conversation. What did you play? What did you play?
I was a drummer.
Oh, you
I
were
was
a drummer?
yeah.
Oh, okay. You were the cool guy. So out of all of us, Mark was the cool guy. He was the drummer. We were, tromboners.
We're trombone.
That doesn't sound right.
It didn't work.
No, that didn't.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, no, that didn't sound right.
Hey, faith-based show, buddy.
Yeah, I know that didn't sound right. Okay.
It worked for Adam, though. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, sorry, Adam. You know we're crazy up in here, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm
we like
sure
to
you
have fun.
figured
Anyone
that
that
out,
lives
haven't
in
you?
Dallas all the time has to be.
Let's get it serious though. Let's rewind. Okay,
ain't gonna
so
work.
tell me about your business. You serve the medical industry with their finances. Can you give us a little bit of backstory on that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I come in, and instead of them hiring a full-time 40-hour-a-week CFO, they hire me for a part-time schedule. So most of the time it's about 8 to 10 hours a week. I come in, lead all of their financial strategy. So I help them with their budget. I help them with their tax planning. And basically, like I said in my bio, I help them make more money. So pay less in taxes, keep more money in their pocket, invest for the future. That is what I work on, and primarily it's doctors, dentists, orthodontists, physical therapists, chiropractors. So anyone out there that's serving patients, and especially over the last year, they have needed a lot of help, and so that's where I've been helping people out, making sure that they've gotten through all of this, providing all those services and keeping all their patients safe.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. So obviously, in your role, there's a lot of challenges. What do you think your biggest challenge is with your role, and what are you doing now to overcome it?
Well, the biggest one is just all the practices that are closing. So many of these small independent doctors' offices have had to close because, for a while they couldn't do all of the services that they had before. Then they had to institute all of the additional safety protocols, and those aren't cheap. So, to be able to reopen in most of the states, and some of them have been open and then closed and open and closed. So, it's finding out ways elsewhere to bring in revenue. So it's been moving people to telehealth. It's been, offering additional services that they weren't before. Maybe it's offering subscription-based services instead of just accepting insurance. So there's a lot of those pieces. And whenever there's less money, it's harder to pay a consultant like myself from the outside who is coming in and saying, well, this is what I cost, this is what I'm worth, I'm going to bring you value, I know I can, but for them to stroke that check every month is a huge hurdle to jump over.
Right. Yeah. No, that totally makes sense.
Now, have you always done fractional work like this, or what brought about a transition if you transitioned into a role like this?
No, so I've been doing this basically since the start of 2020. The 5 years or so prior to that, I had my own accounting firm. So I was working with small businesses, doing their bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes. Late in 2019, I started working with a business coach. And for anyone out there that owns a business coach is an absolute must. I used to be a complete detractor. I was like, why would I hire a business coach? I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I got to a point where I was stuck and I was like, I don't know what, I'm like, the only way is for someone outside of my company to kind of look in there and say, what's going on? What's your, where are you getting stuck? And over the course of like 12 weeks, completely changed my mindset, got me on the path to where I am now, where I'm CFO Adam, instead of just being an accountant that was working with people's books and payroll. So I actually sold my accounting practice at the end of 2019 to start the virtual CFO firm. So that was my transition into what I'm doing now.
Awesome.
How do you relate your, what you do in your profession with finances to job seekers and kind of what they're going through?
Yeah, so there's a few really important parts. So the biggest one is once they, a job is offered to them, that's when the negotiation starts. So they can negotiate their pay, they can negotiate their benefits, they can negotiate their salary. And there's a few huge things that most people don't even think to ask for, but that most companies will say, oh yeah, we'll do that. So professional development is enormous. If you aren't basically guaranteeing that as you're accepting that offer, they may never give you any. So whether that's going back for college credit, whether that's taking, if you're a salesperson, taking sales courses, going to, different events and things like that the company will pay for. If you've got it negotiated into your contract, they're going to pay for that. So there's that piece. And then while they're in that job search phase, it's going through things like setting a budget. Like if you're only receiving unemployment, there's a cap on how much that can actually pay you. So you need to live within your means, try not to rack up too much debt during that time period, so that when you do get back to having a job again and having that salary coming in, that you can theoretically still keep living at that level and then use that additional money to either pay off debt, invest for the future, invest for retirement, invest for a kid's education that you had to kind of put on hold while you were on unemployment.
I want to comment to that because, we help people on the financial side too. And, that budgeting is a big part of the transition. And I know a lot of people don't budget and they haven't budgeted or they don't stick to it up until their transition. But what I want to tell people in the audience, I want you guys to think about this. It's not a case where you just have to get through your transition, right? And if you're not budgeting and you're drilling into your retirement, your nest egg, your emergency fund, like when you start your job, you're starting behind as well, right? Yep. It's not like you're made whole again because you've depleted and you've burnt through your buffer still. So now you've got to build that back. So you're already starting with one arm tied behind your back. So I guess, think about that. That's very important.
Well, yeah,
what you're saying.
The thing that I know too is that, when we first started the show, I asked scale from 1 to 10, where you at? How you doing? Where you feeling? How are you feeling right now?
Yeah.
There were some 10s in there. I got some 25s actually. That was cool. But man, I tell you what, there were some 5s, there were some 6s, there were some low numbers in there too, right? A lot of that has to do with fear. There's an anxiety around your job search. That anxiety is fed by the financial side of it, right? Because there's a financial anxiety, there's a financial fear, you're running out of money. You can literally hear the clock ticking in your mind.
Tick, 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 tick,
Yep.
tick, tick, tick,
Every
tick, tick.
second that you're out of work is money going down, right? And you can feel it. You feel like you're bleeding money. You feel like you're just, just bleeding money, right? And it feels like quicksand. You feel like the harder you struggle, the quicker you sink, right? And so there's this fear and anxiety. So what I always recommend for job seekers to do is go get some professional guidance somewhere. I don't care where you go, guys. Yeah, Mark and I do this, but go get it somewhere. Really, for me, it's about impact, right? If the words I say right now can help you to go somewhere so that they can take that fear off of your back.
Just like you said, a coach is vital, right?
Yeah.
A business coach, a career coach. For some of you that have not stepped into that realm of looking for a career coach, maybe it's time.
We have our skill set, but we need help with maybe making a business out of it, making money, or a coach to do a different application of our skill set.
100%. Yeah, there's people out there that you can get there quicker, right? That's what a coach is going to do. It's going to help you get to the result faster.
Yep.
And in your job search. Oh, the other thing I would say to it as well, a lot of job seekers, what I find is they put their head in the sand. They have that fear. It's the financial worry, the financial fear. They put their head in the sand and expect like, oh, this is just, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to know it. I don't want to see it. That is not the right approach. Like totally the wrong approach. It's not going to go away.
Ignorance is not bliss.
No, that's going to hurt you. So can you relate to any of that? Do you get any of that like in what you do? Does like some of these doctors, are they the same way?
Companies do that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Their primary focus is their patients. If they could be seeing patients from, midnight to midnight every single day of the year, they would do it. So a lot of those administrative tasks are things that they let fall by the wayside because they're like, I want to see more patients. I want to help more patients. I want to cure more patients. And so stepping back from that and saying, okay, if I'm not going to do those tasks, I need to outsource those or insource those to have other professionals take care of those things that they love doing. Like I love numbers. I love accountant, looking at profit and loss statements, all that kind of stuff. That's what I do every single day. And almost every single client I've ever had, one of the first things they always want to get rid of is all of the accounting tasks. They're like, I don't understand it. I don't know when stuff is due. I don't know when to make payments.
Right.
Please just take it off my plate because I need my stress to go down because I keep getting all these notices in the mail. So it's the same thing, when you're on your job search, the notices you're getting in the mail are potentially late payments on bills. It's your mortgage, it's your rent, it's your landlord, your phone service, reaching out to you and saying, hey, you haven't paid in 3 months. The tip that I always give people in those situations is call them. They will work with you,
they will.
especially over the last 12 months. Call those people. And even if you can't pay the full bill, pay $25, pay $50, and keep the conversation going, because that will keep them from shutting off your utilities, from 100%. Shutting off your phone, which you need your phone to be able to do your job search. So you need to keep that going. And if you pay something, they're more likely to keep it on because they know that eventually they're going to get that money back from you. Once you've got a job and able to pay those bills.
Well, you knew I was going to say that, did you? Build a relationship with those people. If you can, zero in on somebody and build a relationship in there.
What kind of other industry, so I find it very interesting what you do, the outsourcing, the kind of fractional work. I don't know if you like that term or not, but, are there other industries, like for our audience, are there other professions that can do that you've seen?
Oh, absolutely. So basically any of your C-suite type roles, I've seen fractional CEOs, I've seen fractional CMOs.
We got them.
And, and everything, fractional chief information security officers, chief technology officers, and all the way down to, even in my realm, fractional controllers, fractional bookkeepers, so that because they don't necessarily need 40 hours a week out of those people, they need 10, but they need the expertise. They need all of that advice that they're going to get from that
Right.
person, but they don't need them filling an office down the hall and sitting there, playing solitaire on the computer for 20 hours a week.
Paying them benefits, right?
Right. Yeah. And then there's that too. The cost is obviously less because they're not paying full time. There's no benefits. There's no payroll taxes. They can use that office space for somebody else that could be a revenue producing person in their business. So there's a lot of different ways that, using fractional, and I'm perfectly fine with the fractional term. That's, I use that interchangeably with virtual. So, it's important that, people are able to go out and look. And for me, I am not a corporate person. I'm not going to go in there, work 40 hours a week for somebody. So I like the flexibility of having 4 or 5 different clients that I work 8 to 10 hours a week for. And then I get that variety. I get, because every single business is different, even if they're in the same industry, and building those relationships with those business owners and with those medical practice owners is what's really important to me.
Quick question for you. So if you could turn back time, okay, if you could go back to when you were 18 years old, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, that's a good one. I would tell myself that I didn't need to go into a corporate job coming out of college, and that I have found that entrepreneurship and owning my own business is what I love. But I was driven all the way through school. You're going to college, and then when you're in college, you get a corporate job, and then you work in the corporate job, and you work your way up the ladder. And that didn't fit for me. It didn't fit with my personality. I like to speak out. I like to speak my mind. That, I know things, and I am, well-versed in things, and, I don't care who's in the room. I'm going to voice my opinion if I have an opinion that's valuable.
Boom.
And in corporate, that isn't always accepted.
No, it's
Speak up and speak out. Hey, so I'm curious. You said that's the advice you'd have given your 18-year-old self is like, to own your own destiny. Not necessarily to go the corporate route. When did you make that transition from the corporate world to running and owning your own business, and why?
So it was late 2014. So I started my accounting practice November of 2014. And the impetus was I got fired from my job. I was treating
that was a God thing, by the way.
Right.
God said, bye-bye. This is not for you.
Go on, get out here.
Go on now.
Yeah, because my boss felt that I was treating it basically as my business instead of her business. And so she's like, basically like, hit the bricks. So at first I was crushed. I was like, I just lost my job. What am I going to do? How am I going to make money? And I had built relationships with all these clients. And so as I started talking to them, being like, hey, I'm not there anymore. I'm not doing that work. They're like, well, why don't you just do, you were doing everything there. Why don't you start your own business? So that was where my accounting practice started, was literally
a lot of people go in that direction.
At the lowest of the low, like I was probably a -5 at that point on your 0 to 10 scale. And, the first year was the scariest year of my life. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay any of these bills, but I'm going to go after it. And like I said, after 5 years, I sold that practice off and, and started a new one. So
I love that.
It can be done, and it can be done and literally bootstrap, like didn't have hardly a penny to my name, started that business and just hustled and worked my ass off. And
$10.
That was just built it up from nothing to be able to sell it off.
Cindy Henry, she's in the comments. She asked if your corporate experience, if you found you needed that to transition into your entrepreneurial role.
I didn't, and part of it was when I was in the corporate landscape, I was doing a completely different role. So I was on an actuarial track for those people in insurance. And then later on transitioned over to working for small businesses. So moving from the corporate landscape of, Fortune 500 level So yeah, it obviously taught me things, and there was obviously things that I learned while I was there that I still use today. But I don't think the track that I've gone on to necessarily had to have that as a prerequisite to get there.
All right, so we had a mic drop moment earlier, and we're running out of time. So I want to make sure we go to the audience real quick, and let's see if we can tee up a question. What instrument? No. Yeah. What instrument did Adam play? Tell us in the comments what instrument did Adam play? And while we're waiting on those comments to come in, because it usually takes a few seconds, tell us where the listeners can connect with you online. Is there a specific website? Or actually, also, before we get to that, I know you said that you have a few webinars coming up, too, you wanted to talk about.
I do. So I actually have one tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's S Corp versus LLCs. So for anyone that is thinking about starting a small business, going over the pros and cons of each of those and when each of them can be valuable. And then next week, for anyone that's in the medical space, I'm doing a webinar primarily focused on medical practices on 3 tips to fix ailing medical practice finances. So those can both be found. Biggest place to find me is LinkedIn. I go by the hashtag CFO Adam, or you can go linkedin.com/in/ and then it's my first and last name.
Love it.
That's the
All
easiest
right,
place
so
to find me.
We've
or
got some
AdamK.com.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
Oh, and then my website, which is showing right now, is AdamK.com.
All right, perfect. All right, so we got some people, and we actually got a lucky winner. Got all the comments rolling in.
I saw Lori. Is that who you got?
No.
Not Lori.
No,
man,
bro.
okay.
See these comments. LinkedIn, get your stuff together, right? Because it's so inconsistent. Like what you see online versus what you see in the phone versus like what you see and I see. Like they're all different.
Yeah.
So you already said it. So why don't you just give it out then? Go for it.
All right. Well, on my phone anyway, which is Android, by the way. I saw Lori West.
Lori West.
Lori West.
Tell them what we won, Adam.
So the gift that I always give out as a prize is a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. So for anyone that hasn't read it, you can find it on Amazon. It's a great book about personal finance, saving for the future, and making all that money work for you.
Love it. Lori West, congratulations.
All right, Lori.
All right, so guys, real quick, before we head out of here, if you could do me a big favor. Adam spent some time with us today, so let's show some love back. Take that screenshot, share that picture all over social media. I want people I want those tags to drive him nuts because all the notifications he's going to get from this audience, right? I want you just to blow him up. Right? So
CFO
post it.
Adam.
Yeah, CFO Adam, and tell him how much you appreciate him and how much you love him coming on the show. And then before you go, right? One last thing on my X.
Wait.
On my X right now.
Wait.
Right now.
All right.
Hit that share button.
Mash it.
Mash
Mash
it.
it.
Mash that share button.
And while you're at it, while you're at it, tag your friends.
That's too many
Tag
CTAs.
your family. Tag your colleagues.
No.
Heck, go ahead and tag your dog.
No.
Tag the world.
No. Don't listen to him. Look, that's too many CTAs. Too many calls to action, guys. You only got look, okay? I want you to take the screenshot. Okay, that's number one. Do the screenshot, then hit share. That's it. All right? Well, guys, that's the show.
It's all
about
who you know.
Bye.
Bye. Trevor Houston here, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Who You Know Job Networking Show. We hope you've been inspired, encouraged, educated, and entertained all at the same time. For information on our different events, workshops, partners, or partnership opportunities available, check out whoyouknow.show for more details. And be on the lookout for our new mobile app coming soon. You never know how this show could help someone you know. And if we've made an impact or put a smile on your face today, don't forget to hit that share button on your way out. Until next week, it's all about who you know. Bye.